What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to another draft league. This will be the first draft league that I'm in of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and I realize that there's a spoiler on the screen of the first pick, but I'm kind of sort of doing this in a rush because finals have been making videos and editing and everything like that really difficult as of late, and I really wanted to get the draft analysis up before the battle goes live tomorrow. Or the week 1 battle goes live. So I'm making this in a bit of a rush, so just ignore the spoiler for a couple seconds. This is going to be the XBL. It is ran by Papa C. There's a bunch of homies in it. There's Kyle A, there's Hera, there's Randy, HLD Productions, there's Pum, or Iron Boffin, however you know him, Mewtwo fan Nate. There's In Vivid Color, and then there's Powder. I'm trying to think. I know I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? Grizzlock. There we go. So it has a bunch of homies in it, and that's really cool. I love having leagues where it's a bunch of homies, and this league is literally just to upload for views. There is no other motive except for views. So I'm going to tell you guys that now. So we drafted a bunch of teams. We're aiming to have fun. We're aiming to literally just have fun with this game. Nothing more, nothing less. So because of that, we allowed Ubers. Not all of them, but a vast majority of them we actually did allow. Some broken ones we obviously didn't, like Mewtwo's, Arceus, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza. We didn't allow that type of shit. So we did allow Genesect, which was my first pick. I was 9th overall in the draft out of 10 people, which is really cool because that means I pretty much get a wheel pick, and the draft went by unbelievably quick. So it was really cool. But going into this, all I knew that I knew I wanted Tapu Koko, and I knew I wanted Komo-o. And I knew that if I got Tapu Koko, I needed to have a really good U-turner with it. So instantly looking at my Ubers that I could take, I wanted something to pressure bulky Psychics, and I also wanted something that was able to pivot. Unfortunately, we didn't allow that many Ubers that could do that. Let me actually look at what Ubers we allowed that could do that. We allowed Genesect, Magearna, and that's it for pivoting. Greninja with Protean. So overall, I was like, Genesect is my best pick. It gives me something to nuke bulky Psychic types with U-turn or Bug Buzz. It gives me a really good mixed attacker. It gives me a form of priority in E-Speed. It gives me setup options in Shift Gear. It gives me a great move pool. It gives me a really cool speed tier 99, which means that 100s are forced to run Jolly or to min-max speed. It also gives me a very nice weakness, believe it or not. Having a 4x weakness to fire means that teams are going to have to be forced to run HP fire, and if I force them into running that and I have another thing that's weak to a hidden power, then it can be pretty useful. And certain things, the only move that they can use to hit me is hidden power fire, so because of that, it might make it a little bit easier for me to EV this thing to live some hidden power fires from certain mons. Once I got Genesect, I mean, it's pretty obvious that I wanted to get Tapu Koko since the very beginning of Gen 7. I think it is arguably the best Pokemon in Draft League format. I think that it has the most potential. Now that it gets Defog, it's even better. It has access to Volt Switch and U-turn, Taunt, and Roost. It gets access to Defog. It has Calm Mind for setup potential. Blistering Speed at base 130. Really good mixed attacker. It also has Thunder Punch now, which is really cool. So this thing just has everything that I wanted and a bag of chips, pretty much. It's really nice. It also starts to round out some typings that I knew I needed. I knew I wanted a Dragon Fairy Steel, and I knew I wanted them all to be offensive. I didn't want to have a bulky Dragon Fairy Steel core, because I feel as though a bulky Dragon Fairy Steel core is pretty typical. Like, you have a bulky Steel and a bulky Fairy, and then like a setup Dragon, or something that's like a nuking Dragon that has some pivoting like Hydreigon, or Dragonite, something along those lines. So, or Mence. I wanted something that was all offensive. So, I think I got a pretty good option here. It can also be pretty bulky if I wanted it to. 70, 85, 75 are not bad defensive stats, but they're not the best. But with reliable recovery and Roost, it's not bad at all. And if I get a Wish Passer on the team later on, then that's even better. So now that I have these two, excuse me, I'm also getting over being sick because finals have kind of sort of killed my immune system with stress. However, but since I now have this, I wanted to start looking at bulky options, because if I have Genesect, Tapu Koko, Komodo, and then there's 2 or 3 other offensive mons that I knew I wanted later on in the draft, I needed to start looking at some good bulk to be able to switch into things. And the first thing I wanted to have is I wanted to have a really good bulky water type, and arguably the best one in the format in my opinion is Milotic. It has Haze, it has Recover, it has Dragon Tail for phasing, and it also has Marvel Scale. Marvel Scale allows its defense to be boosted times 1.5, I believe, or 1.25, something like that. It ups its defense whenever it has a status condition, and with the burn nerf in Gen 7, it just makes it really, really good. On top of that, this also gives me a pretty good speed tier for a defensive mon at base 81. A lot of walls that are, I'm not going to say more passive, but a little bit slower, like Nidoqueen. If I wanted to, I could run this thing with enough speed to outspeed Nidoqueen and nuke a Nidoqueen. So, I think that's really, really cool. I love that about Milotic. But it's a bulky water type. It's very generic. You guys should know what it does by now. And now that I have Milotic, I think it's time for me to bite the bullet and take Komodo. Komodo, I'm going to tell you exactly why I want it. I think that Komodo has the potential to be the best dragon in League format. Hear me out on this. It has so many different setup options, right? It has Autotomize, it has SD, it has Dragon Dance, it has Belly Drum, it has a very good mixed move pool with Clanging Scales, Flash Cannon, Flamethrower, I think I already said Flash Cannon. I think it did. But it has insane mixed potential, and now it also has access to close combat. This gives it an insane sweeping potential, which is amazing. Having 75, 125, 105 defenses is also really, really good. It pretty much ensures that if your opponent does not have Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast, or Pixelate boosted Hyper Voice, you can't kill this thing with one hit. Do you hear my dogs? I don't know why they do this. I really don't. It's nothing I can control. I don't know what to do with this. Like, they just scream. Anyway, I'll just keep talking. So I really think that Komodo has the potential to be the best dragon in the format because of how easily it can set up. I believe it can set up a little bit easier than Mint's Dragonite. Even some of the other better dragons in the format like Calm Mind Lottie. I think it can set up easier because it has such a good typing with only 1 4x weakness. Whereas while I know that Ments and Dragonite only have a 4x weakness, they have a 4x weakness to priority, and the only priority that this thing is weak to 4 times is Triage Draining Kiss, which is only given to Comfey. So it's very, very easy for it to set up, along with the fact that it has 3 really good abilities, honestly, in Overcoat, Soundproof, and Bulletproof. It can set up on things that are locked into Sludge Bomb. It can set up on a Choice Spec Sylveon that's locked into Hyper Voice. It can set up on something that has Hail. Like, if this thing is a Choice Scarf user, and I'm against an Alolan Ninetales, I'm not going to take Hail damage because I could be Overcoat, and then I can just completely one-shot it with a Flash Cannon. So this thing does have a lot of unique abilities, and a lot of very unique coverage that I don't think a whole lot of dragon types can say that they can do, and I just think that this thing has insane potential now that it has close combat. That was pretty much the one thing that it was needing from Sun and Moon. So I have my offense now. Now I'm going to focus on getting a little bit of bulk. I think my next 2 picks are really, really bulky. Starting off with Serena. Serena I got for a couple of different reasons. The biggest reason is it has Rapid Spin and it blocks priority. At this point in time, there is one mon that truthfully 6-0s my team, and that is Linoon. I wanted to have a way to ensure that it can't do that. This is my way of doing it. A Choice Scarf Tide Jump Kick, a Choice Scarf Trop Kick, being able to block its priority. It can do that pretty well. So, and Linoon is a big threat. If you do not have a way of stopping priority, or you do not have something that can live at +6 E-Speed, you're screwed. So it's really important that I was able to get Serena. This also does give me a Rapid Spinner and a U-Turner, and it gives me my bulky Grass type so I can switch into Ground types, because right now I don't switch in the best to Edgequake. And some things weren't drafted, like Terrakion wasn't drafted, which is pretty cool. But if I needed something to switch into Stone Edge, Earthquake, anything like that, I didn't have much of anything. This gives me a pretty good switch in. And I think now it gets Power Whip, which is really, really cool because it has base 120 attack coming off of a base 120 power stab grass move. It's not going to be easy for you to switch into this thing, even if it is defensive. And I really like that about this mon. I think it's really, really cool. One thing this doesn't give me, though, reliable stealth rocks. And I don't like that. I do not like having no reliable stealth rockers because right now my only stealth rocker is Komo-o. And Komo-o, while it's good, it's not going to be something that I want to set up stealth rocks with. So I want to get another bulky mon that could ensure that I always get up rocks, and Uxie is that mon. It has Levitate, so it has another Earthquake switch in, which is really, really cool. 75, 130, 130 defenses. It is stupid fat. On top of this, it gives me my Psychic typing, it gives me a reliable Stealth Rocker, it gives me screens, it gives me Memento to set up with something like Tapu Koko, Genesect, or Komo-o. It gives me like slower U-turn with base 95 speed. If I'm going up against a more offensive mon, I can soak up a hit, U-turn on out, and then get into something else. It also gives me knockoff. I do not have much knockoff on this team. I have Serena and I have this. Those are my only knockoff users right now. So being able to knock off an item is huge in the league format. But I definitely think that Uxie is probably one of the glue members to this team. It's going to be a mon that every single week I can look at and I can be like, yep, I need you to do this for me. I really, really like Uxie, and I think it fits the team pretty well. It also gives me a pseudo check to certain offensive psychic types. Things like I can't think off the top of my head because I just woke up. Things like a Reuniclus. I can switch in, see what they're gonna do, and then I can U-turn out, or I can Memento to lower their offenses to go into something that can break through it. That's a really poor example, but it gives me that Psychic switch in, which currently I do not have a Psychic switch in outside of Genesect, which, as I said, is 4 times weak to fire. I don't like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next mon, and I got Linoon. It was still sitting there in the 7th round. I couldn't pass it up, and this thing did not get moved up in pricing at all. It was 3 points. Which, by the way, we're doing a PPL type system where we each get 120 points and we can draft Z crystals and we just have to make the team fit. 3 points for Linoon. I could not pass that up. Gives me another setup sweeper. My favorite setup sweeper. In my opinion, one of the best ones in the game. Because it's just so easy to take advantage of a wall. I love this thing so unbelievably much. If you guys have been around my channel for any longer than, I'm going to say a month or so, you're going to know that Linoon is my favorite Pokemon, and I'm currently getting my channel rebranded around Linoon. But base 100 speed is really, really cool for something with Belly Drum, because even if it sets up a Belly Drum, things that are faster than it die to E-speed, things that are slower than it die to Return. It also gets access to some really cool coverage now in Stomping Tantrum and Throat Chop. Now, Throat Chop might not sound like the most important because it already gets Shadow Claw, but Throat Chop is 10 base power stronger. So that's actually really important whenever it comes to damage rolls at +6, so that's really cool. And Stomping Tantrum now allows it to nuke steel types. Before Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, this thing had no way of hitting any steel type except for Dig, and that's less than ideal. So now it has a base 170 power move. 170? I don't know why I said that. It has a base 75 ground type attack to be able to nuke steel types. It's amazing. I love this Pokemon. It's the coolest Pokemon in the entire world. So one thing I really wanted with this team was Wish Pass, because some of my more offensive mons don't have reliable recovery and they're a little bit more frail, like Genesect, Linoon, for example, and some of the ones that I wanted to get later on. And one of the best Wish Passers, in my opinion, is actually Licky Licky. Now, Licky Licky I got because I think it pairs up really well with Yuxi in a synergize aspect, because Licky Licky is only weak to fighting. Yuxi takes any fighting hit ever. Yuxi is weak to Ghost, and Licky Licky is immune to it. That's not including Dark and Bug for Yuxi, but I do have things that can take on Dark and Bug type attacks. I'm sorry I'm so sick. I've been congested for like a week and a half now. It's not been fun. Anyway, Licky Licky is literally just a wish passer and a bulky pivot. It's not much more than that. It's never going to be super offensive unless I'm running against Rain, and then I run Choice Scarfed Cloud 9 again. That was always fun. But yeah, this thing is very, 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 very standard. You guys all know what Licky Licky does. But let's go ahead and move on to the fun portion of the draft. These next picks are absolutely amazing, and I love them so unbelievably much. Let's talk about the first one. My favorite one. No, this isn't my favorite one. It's probably like top 3 of these last 5. Yeah. Alolan Raticate. Base 77 speed. This gives me a dark type nuke. Base 71 attack with double edge, crunch, knockoff, U-turn, sucker punch, quick attack, facade even. It has a very, 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 very nice coverage, as long as I hit my moves. But this thing gives bulky psychic types a massive run for their money, and if they don't expect it, it'll really hurt them. Things that we did allow, like Necrozma Dawn Wings, it can't always come around because this thing can have Sucker Punch and can completely one-shot it from full health. So I really like that. It also gives me another U-turner and a speed tier that I did not have. Base 77 speed is pretty unique. I don't think there's many at base 77. Not that I can think of. Anyway, pretty much I got this thing to be a dark type nuke. And at this point in time I was looking at Darkinium Z to get for my Z move users. That way I can ensure always hit at least one hit against bulky psychic types. And that's amazing. So now I wanted something that is super important to my team, and that is a ground type. And I also want more stealth rockers because I still only have 1. And in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there's a ground type that got stealth rocks that I think is very, very cool, and that is Palosand. I think Palosand has massive potential. 85 HP, 110 defense. That's really, really good. Along with having base 100 special attack and 75 special defense, and the ability Water Compaction. If you don't know what Water Compaction does, whenever you get hit by a water type attack, your defense raises by 2 stats. So if you run like a Spadef one with Water Compaction, and you switch into a Scald, and it can't 2-hit KO you, and you don't get burnt, you now have a +2 defense and a Spadef Palosand up on the field. Also, as I said, it does now have Stealth Rocks, and it's a pretty reliable Stealth Rocker. This thing is very hard to one-shot in with anything as short from a Z move, and that's pretty cool. I do like it. I like it a lot. I really like Palosand. I used that on my playthrough, and it was just so cool. I know that really has no meaning to anything in the Draft League format, but I really like Palosand. And I'm going to name this thing Nikki. I know I haven't told you any of the names because I don't know what they are yet. Well, I do, some of them. But I'm going to name this thing Nikki because let's go to the beach, eat, let's go get away. Okay, I'm done. And but yeah, I really like Palosand. I think it'll be a really cool fit to the team. It's a very cool electric immunity as well because it doesn't just die to Grass Knot. So, God, I hate being sick. Let's go ahead and talk about this mon right here. Is my favorite of the last 5. This mon is just so unbelievably cool. Monferno. So, why is Monferno my favorite pick? It does give me another fighting type. I'm okay with that. It does give me a fire type that I did not have. However, it gives me some really cool abilities in Iron Fist and Flare Blitz and cool priority in Mach Punch. So, going down the list of priority that I have Extreme Speed on Genesect and Extreme Speed on Linoon. I have Sucker Punch on Raticate, and I have Mach Punch on Monferno. 4 forms of priority. That is really, really cool. God, I hate being this sick. Anyway, this also gives me a very cool offensive mon, because base 78 in attack and special attack might not seem that good. However, this thing gets the exact same coverage that Infernape gets. SD and Nasty Plot. It gets access to Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave. So that's 5 forms of priority, actually. It gets access to Gunk Shot. It gets access to U-Turn, Flare Blitz, Close Combat. It gets access to everything. So it's just a little bit slower and a little bit weaker. And I don't know if you know this or not, but between Genesect, Tapu Koko, Kamoo, and Linoon, I have some pretty good wall breakers on my team. So this thing could potentially be a very good cleanup mon, along with having 64, 52, and 52 bulk stats. This is pretty pathetic, honestly. However, it does have a decent typing to be able to take a lot of hits neutrally that one or the other wouldn't really want to take. Like Stone Edge, like Fairy typing in general. This thing is neutral, and having Eviolate on it can make it tank a hit and fire back with a really strong close combat or Flare Blitz. So Monferno is a mon that I'm really, really excited to use, and I think Monferno and Linoon are going to be my 2 favorite mons on the entire team. They're 2 mons that I could see myself drafting continuously over and over, no matter what league I'm in, just because I think they're really good, cheap mons. Like, and they're good mons that I don't think can ever go above, like, Monferno can't go above 5 points ever, and then Linoon can never go above, like, 10 points. So that's pretty good for a really good, like, offensive pairing to go together. However, let's go ahead and look. I got the Dark Z Crystal, Darkinium Z. This thing, it can't be taken advantage of too much on the team. It can be taken advantage of 3 main components of this team. Well, 4 if you count one of my next picks. Genesect with Dark Pulse. You have Z Memento with Uxie. You have any Z Dark move with the Alolan Raticate. That's pretty much why I wanted this thing. There wasn't really another Z Crystal that I wanted, because Z moves are stupid. So, yeah. And let's just go ahead and talk right about the next mon. Z Memento is pretty much the biggest one that I wanted, and Alolan Raticates. But, my boy, this right here is actually my boy. So a really big reason why I wanted this thing, I wanted Aqua Jet priority. I think it is super important in the XBL because we have speed boost Blaziken allowed. If that thing sets up sword stances, if it gets too boosted up, if it has too many speed boosts, you can't kill it. So I wanted to make sure I had enough priority for it. I have 2 extreme speed users, I have Mach Punch, I have Vacuum Wave, I have Sucker Punch, and now I also have Aqua Jet. And this thing is bulky enough to be able to take a Vacuum Wave from special attacking Life Orb Blaziken pretty easily, as long as I invest properly, and then with a Choice Band and Aqua Jet, it can just go and die. So that was the main reason why I got this thing. It gives me an offensive water with adaptability based 92 attack is pretty stupid strong. Pretty stupid strong. And then this also does get access to things like Head Smash and Crunch, so I can abuse the Dark Z Crystal with this as well. So on this team, I'm okay with it so far. Oh, Monferno also gets Stealth Rocks. That was another really important thing. It gives me a very nice lead with Taunt and Stealth Rocks. Anyway, this gives me another really cool speed tier of 99. So I have 99, I have 98, 99, and then I have a base 100 mon. That's pretty cool. I like that. So the final mon on this draft, I gotta say, I wasn't really convinced on anything. I have 1 point left, so it has to be a meme pick. And we all agreed to take a meme pick anyway, so I think I kind of sort of got like 3 of them in Monferno, Basculin, and this thing, but it's whatever. This Pokemon was suggested to me by my good buddy Ultra Player because it's really, really fat, gets access to Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Recover, and it has very decent bulky stats for a basic Pokemon, and that is Shelmet. So some of you guys are going to think, what? No, that's not. It actually takes really, really, really good hits. So one of the main things that this does is it can actually switch into Marshadow. Life Orbed Spectral Thief has a chance to 3-hit KO after Stealth Rocks. No, that's before Stealth Rocks. So if Stealth Rocks aren't up, it can live 2 hits from Marshadow, recover up, stall it out. It can go for things like Infestation and Toxic. It can get up spikes and Toxic spikes for me. And it has some pretty good bulk. I like it. I mean, it could be worse, right? It definitely could be worse. This thing also has some pretty cool utility. Let me go down the list. I was reading on it. I was looking at it yesterday. I haven't had to look up anything this entire video because I've already built like 3 weeks worth of teams. But this thing also gets Baton Pass, which is really, really cool. It gets access to Encore, which is really nice. Final Gambit, which is really cool. Recover, as I said. Spikes and T-Spikes are some pretty big ones. Acid Armor. If I can be able to Baton Pass Acid Armors into something, that'd be pretty cool. I can even Baton Pass Curses. So here's a set that I'm going to do one day. So if you're watching this and you're in the XBL, be prepared for Curse Shelmet to be Baton Passed into physical Tapu Koko with a white herb. I'm going to do it because I think Tapu Koko gets Acrobatics. If it doesn't, that's stupid. It does get Acrobatics. Be prepared for that, peeps. Be prepared. But yeah, it gets some pretty cool moves. I'm okay with it. It also gets Yawn, so it has some very cool options as a low tier 1 point pick. But guys, with that, that is the draft for the Maryland Tour Terrapins in week 1 of the XBL. Week 1 will be going live tomorrow. I will be putting a team builder and battle into one video because finalists have been kicking my ass, so I haven't had a time to edit both of them in separate videos. But you can definitely look forward to that. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you let me know what you guys think of the team down in the description below. Make sure you guys let me know what your favorite Pokemon is. And let me know if you guys want to be named after anything. As I said, week 1 has already happened at this point in time, so I won't be able to do it week 1. But after that, I'll definitely try to name some stuff after you guys. So make sure you leave a comment down below for me. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.